Right, ready for this. Today we're going deep into LensClear.
LensClear.
Yeah, it's this whole platform, all about photography.
Okay, cool.
And I've got to say, their whole approach, I'm kind of fascinated already. They've got real-world gear reviews, expert master classes, a global community.
You had me at global community. I'm all about that connection.
Right, exactly. And you know what else struck me? From like all the stuff you sent over,
Yeah.
it seems like LensClear really gets it. Like photography, it's not just about, the technical skills.
It's about the story. Like,
Yeah.
what are you trying to say with the photo?
Exactly. And all those emotions, the individual, view.
Perspective, yeah.
And speaking of view, did you see how LensClear started?
Oh, remind me.
The founder was this outdoor photographer and bam, aha
Yeah.
moment.
Nice.
Totally saw this need,
Yeah.
for a space that wasn't just about gear or the how-to of photography.
So what, like the WHY?
The why, the feeling, the creative side, all of that.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. So many platforms are just like, here's the best lens, the fastest shutter speed, but then what?
Then what? Exactly. And that, I think, is where the name LensClear is so smart.
Okay, break that down for me.
It's you get clarity in your photos, but also clarity in how you see the whole art form.
Oh, no, I like that.
It's deeper.
Way deeper.
And then their mission, 3 parts, boom. Education, inspiration, and community.
Well-rounded, for sure.
Totally. So let's hit each of those. First up, education. What jumped out at you?
Well, they're not messing around. It's for every level, it seems like. You've got beginners who, still are figuring out which setting does what.
The basics.
Exactly. And then you've got, the pros diving into astrophotography.
Wait, astrophotography? That's the stars, right?
Stars, galaxies, the whole night sky shebang.
I've always wanted to try that. Always so impressed by those photos. Did they say, how to do it?
Oh, yeah. Gear, technique, the whole deal. They recommend this star tracker thing.
A star tracker.
Helps with the Earth's rotation so you can do longer exposures and all that.
Makes sense that stars are moving.
Right. And they even break down, different models of the tracker.
Oh, wow. Getting specific.
Super specific. Portability, how much weight it can handle, all that practicality.
I love that. Not just theory, but here's what actually works when you're out there shooting.
Real world stuff.
Okay, so education, check. What about inspiration? How's LensClear doing that?
LensClear stories, have you seen those?
I was just looking at those.
Interviews with photographers, all different backgrounds. It's so cool.
Sharing their stories.
Their journeys, what they've struggled with, how they get creative, the whole process. One was this underwater photographer.
Whoa, that's hardcore.
Right. Talking about the gear challenges, but also the emotional impact of shooting underwater.
I bet. It's another world down there.
Exactly. So inspiring on so many levels, right? Makes you think, hey, photography, it's more than just a hobby.
More than a job, even. It's
Yeah.
self-expression.
Totally. And sometimes even, activism, making a statement.
Powerful. Okay, so they've got the teaching, they've got the inspiration. What about the community aspect? How do they build that?
All right, so forums, yeah, those are standard. But LensClear also does workshops.
Ooh, workshops. In person.
Online, too, covering landscapes, portraits, you name it. And then they have these photo contests.
Contests are fun.
Totally. Gets people excited. Plus, you get feedback from other photographers, recognition.
So smart.
Yeah.
So many ways to interact, right? Some people love that deep dive of a workshop. Others are all about the competition.
Exactly. And that connection, I think, is crucial, especially because photography can feel kind of lonely sometimes.
Oh, for sure. You're often out there by yourself, just you and the camera.
LensClear makes it more social,
I like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, how things change, LensClear's come a long way from where they started. Started as a blog, right?
Yep. Humble beginnings.
Now it's this whole platform.
Yeah.
What were some of the big changes you noticed?
Gear reviews. They really stepped those up.
Oh.
Way more in depth now. They actually test this stuff.
Out in the field.
Real world shooting. I was reading their review of this new mirrorless camera.
Ooh. Which one? I've been thinking about getting a mirrorless.
It was hold on, let me check my notes. The Canon EOS R100.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
They didn't just list the megapixels and stuff.
What else did they do?
Tested the autofocus in low light, the video quality, even how weather sealed it was.
Practical stuff.
Super practical, because who cares about specs if it can't handle a little rain, right?
So true. Okay, that's gear reviews. What else?
Their master classes are impressive now, too.
The master classes, yeah.
They're bringing in, really big name photographers.
No way. Who have they had?
Well, there's one on street photography taught by this guy whose work is all over National Geographic.
Whoa, that's serious.
Right. So from basic editing to like the philosophy of composition, they've got it all.
It's amazing they can get those kinds of instructors.
They've definitely grown their reputation.
And then, I noticed this too, they do a good job of keeping photographers in the loop about what's new, what's trending.
Industry updates, yeah, they've got a whole section on that.
Tech stuff, software, all of it, right?
Right. Like there was this article about AI editing tools.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, how those might change how photographers work.
Photography's always evolving. It's hard to keep up.
LensClear helps with that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And, I like that they don't just focus on the big names, the pros.
Yeah, they showcase new talent too.
Give those up-and-coming photographers a spotlight.
We even have a mentoring program, help those folks navigate the industry.
That's cool. So they're not just like sink or swim. They're actually helping people out.
Exactly. It's all about making photography more inclusive, more diverse.
Which I think is fantastic. Everyone should feel welcome, whether they've been shooting for years or just got their first camera.
Totally agree. And it's not just like a nice idea they have. It's woven into their whole approach, even their values.
Ooh. Okay, let's talk values. What did you pick up on from the stuff we read?
3 things stood out: authenticity, innovation, and inclusivity.
Love those.
And they really live by them. Like their approach is super genuine. They're not putting on a front.
It's like, this is us, take it or leave it, which I respect.
Right. And they're always trying new things, experimenting, pushing the boundaries.
Like a photographer playing with light, finding new angles.
Exactly. And then the inclusivity part.
Yeah, that seems key to them.
Huge. They're like, photography is for everyone, no matter your background, how much money you have, how long you've been doing this.
Which is so important because sometimes, especially online, it feels like it's all about the fanciest gear, the most experience.
Can be intimidating.
Totally. LensClear is different. They make it feel like, come as you are, we're happy to have you.
Love that. And it's not just talk. They back it up with action.
Like one, give me examples.
They've got tons of free stuff like articles and tutorials, so learning isn't locked behind a paywall.
Nice.
And they have a scholarship program.
A scholarship.
Helps photographers from, communities that are underrepresented attend their workshops.
Wow, putting their money where their mouth is.
They are. They've had some, defining moments, too, things that shaped their journey.
Oh, tell me about those.
Well, their first workshop for landscape photography, it's sold out completely.
It must have been such a good feeling, like we're on to something here.
Totally. And it was the start of their whole education program, which is huge for them now.
I bet. Seeing your vision come to life.
Then there's those LensClear stories. We talked about those.
Yeah, those are cool.
Those really shifted the focus to the human side of photography. Photographers from all walks of life sharing their experiences.
It's one thing to teach skills, but sharing stories, that's connecting on another level.
Deep stuff. And their contests, those have helped build community, too.
I bet those get pretty competitive.
Oh, yeah. Everyone wants to win. But it's all in good fun. It gives people a chance to, show off their work, get feedback, connect.
Some winners get featured. Right?
On their website, social media, the whole 9 yards. Great for exposure.
So smart. All these milestones, it really shows how dedicated they are to, the whole photographer.
Not just the skills, but the heart.
Or the vision, the passion.
Yeah, all of it. And that connection, that human side, that's what really sets LensClear apart, I think.
We've been dancing around it this whole time, but it's true, right? It's not just about the tech specs.
Photography is a way to connect with the world, to express yourself, to make people feel something.
And LensClear gets that.
They bridge that gap between knowledge and creativity,
But how do they do it? That's what I want to know. Give me specifics.
Well, for that, I think we need to delve a bit deeper. Ready for part 2 of our deep dive?
Hit me with it. I'm dying to hear more about this human touch they bring to photography.
Okay, stay tuned, because next up, we're going to explore how LensClear uses storytelling, powerful imagery, and practical advice to create a learning experience that's both informative and inspiring. Okay, so picking up where we left off, that human element in LensClear.
Yeah. I'm hooked. I want more details.
All right, well, check this out. They have these behind-the-lens
I
features.
saw those. I was just looking at them.
They're so good, right? Photographers actually talking about, the tough parts of a shoot.
The stuff that doesn't make it to Instagram.
Exactly. Or, the stories behind their most powerful images. That's what gets me.
Me too. It's like, yeah, Technique matters, but the heart, the emotion, that's what makes a photo stick with you.
Oh, 100%. Like there was this photographer talking about a portrait session. It was with a refugee family.
Oh, wow.
And they said, like, it turned into this profound moment, connection, empathy, the whole deal. And I realized, yeah, photography, it's big.
It can be, for sure.
More than just pretty pictures. It can bridge cultures, build understanding.
It can be activism.
Exactly. And LensClear, they give those stories a platform. It's like they're saying, hey, it's not just about gear, it's about what's inside you.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah. What moves you, inspires you, all that. Find your voice.
Through the lens.
Right. And then when you give those voices a platform, what do you get? Community.
People connect, find their tribe.
Exactly. It's not just a bunch of photographers doing their own thing. It's like this collective
Working together.
to make a statement, to change things through their art.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And LensClear, they seem to really nail that whole community thing, don't they?
They do, and in a way that feels like genuine, not forced. You know, like they have these photo challenges every week.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. What was the last one?
Reflections. It
Oh,
was.
Interesting.
People were going crazy with it. Mirrors, water, even shadows.
I saw some of those. So creative.
Right. And it's just a simple prompt, but it gets everyone experimenting, trying new stuff, and like cheering each other on.
Exactly. That's what makes it a community. It's not just, here's some info, good luck.
It's a dialogue back and forth, helping each other grow.
Which is great, but it's not all warm fuzzies, right? They still give solid advice, teach the
Oh,
skills.
for sure. Their tutorials are great for that.
Yeah, I was checking those out too. They're pretty comprehensive.
From like the basics of how to compose a shot all the way to editing workflows.
I like the one on long exposure. They explained the shutter speed thing, the aperture.
But then they also gave tips on finding cool subjects, making the composition interesting.
It's like, yeah, here's the hey tau W, but also the what and the WHY.
The artistic eye, that's what they help you develop. Light, shadow, color, all of that.
Because anyone can learn the buttons on a camera.
It's what you do with it that matters.
And LensClear seems to, like, guide you through that.
They don't shy away from the tough stuff either, you know.
Like what?
Creative blocks, dealing with criticism, even the business side of photography. They've got articles, forum discussions, all that.
Which is so real. It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
But they're there to help you through it. And speaking of help, their gear recommendations, that's another big one.
The real-world reviews, yeah. We talked about those.
They go deep, man, beyond the marketing hype.
No sugarcoating.
None. It's like, here's what we actually think based on using this stuff.
So valuable, especially for someone like me, not super techie.
Saves you so much time and money figuring out what's worth buying.
And they're good about catering to different budgets too, right?
Yep. Beginner, pro, doesn't matter. They'll help you find the right tool for the job without breaking the bank.
That inclusivity again. It all goes back to their mission, empowering photographers.
Whether it's through teaching, through inspiration, through community, they're there to help you succeed.
And not just succeed in terms of, like, skills.
But also connecting with photography on a deeper level.
Finding your voice,
Yeah.
using it to tell your story.
And maybe even changing the world a little bit, you know?
I like that. Okay, so we've talked about the present, but what about the future of LensClear?
Ah, yes, the future. Global expansion, augmented reality, AI. They've got big plans.
I'm ready to hear it.
Buckle up, because it's about to get interesting.
All right, lay it on me. What's LensClear cooking up for the future?
Okay, so world domination, but like the good kind.
What do you mean?
Global expansion. They're making their platform multilingual.
No way. That's huge.
Right. Imagine photographers all over the world connecting, sharing, learning from each other.
That's breaking down some serious barriers.
Totally. It's like inclusivity on a global scale.
Love it. And they're not stopping there, right? You
Yeah.
mentioned augmented reality, AI, all that.
Oh, yeah, they're going all in on the tech side, especially for education.
Give me an example. What are they thinking?
Okay, imagine this. You're learning about camera settings, but it's not just reading a manual.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's like a virtual camera in your hands. You can change the settings, see how it affects the image, all in real time.
Whoa. That's next level.
Right. And AI can analyze your photos, give you personalized feedback, suggest techniques.
It's like having a personal tutor, but it's AI.
Exactly. Makes learning so much more engaging, accessible too.
What about sustainability? That was a big part of their mission.
Oh yeah, they're serious about that. Promoting eco-friendly practices, you know. Articles on responsible wildlife photography, how to reduce your impact when traveling, all that.
Makes sense. Photographers are out there in nature a lot.
Right. They even partner with conservation organizations, using their platform to raise awareness.
It's like photography with a purpose.
Exactly. It's not just about taking pretty pictures. It's about caring for the world we're capturing.
That's the human element shining through again.
It always comes back to that, doesn't it?
It does. So big picture, what's LensClear all about after this whole deep dive?
They're not just building a website. They're building a community, a movement almost.
Yeah, more than just a platform.
It's a place to connect, to learn, to grow as a photographer and as a person, I think.
They're proving photography can be so much more than just a hobby.
It can be art, it can be storytelling, it can be a voice for change.
And LensClear gives you the tools, the inspiration to make that happen.
So to everyone listening, I have a question for you. What will your LensClear story be?
What will you capture? What will you share?
Will you use your lens to document your world, to speak up for what matters, to create something beautiful?
Or maybe it's just about preserving memories, connecting with people.
Whatever it is, LensClear is there to support you.
So go out there, explore, create, and who knows, maybe your photos will inspire the next generation of LensClear photographers.
That's it for our deep dive into LensClear, folks.
Thanks for joining us.
Keep shooting and keep creating.